Hey guys, Some Gamer Dude here. Spoiler season for both Dragon Ball Z and Force of Will at the moment, and while I will never attempt to do a full spoiler seasons worth of videos again, it presumes I care enough about every single preview, I will touch on a card or two I care about because it sparks me, or it's something I'm interested in a theme, or it's a character I like. I might even resurrect something I used to do in text form, but we'll see. So our lady and saviour Valentina was shown last week. As a primarily black and blue player, I've had a special fondness for Val since I first started playing Force of Will. Until 1-Inch Boy and Rabbit Kick were both rotated, Valentina was my favourite deck. Not my default after quite some time, but my favourite. Even when I make Xion and Charlotte, I try to squeeze a little Val in there, and thanks to a friend as my birthday present, my mat is Val. Yeah, my friends jokingly say she is my waifu. While I may not be into that type of stuff, having actual dignity prevents me from going that low, there probably isn't a better choice. All that said, being black-blue is pretty far up my alley, but can she dethrone Charlotte? A character I couldn't care less about, but packs so darn much. Invading Demon of Water Valentina. Demon? Really? Anyway, she's a black-blue ruler, meaning Energize provides either. Flips for black-blue 1, which is fine, it's not really a high cost, and with black-blue being bosom buddies at the moment, it might as well just read 3. Her effect revolves around her colour combination. Water chance reduce target Resonator's attack by total cost, so a 2-cost blue spell reduces attack by 200, while black chance reduce target Resonator's defense by the total cost. Same example, it'll be minus 200 defense. The most obvious application is Space-Time Anomaly, which ups to a minus 7/7, or splits the 2 between 5/5 and a 2/2. The prior of which is an enormous amount of coverage. While it doesn't deal with Turbo Guiba, Blue does have answers to that anyway. The problem comes from the fact Valentina doesn't do much else. -2 attack and or -2 defense is probably the max it's ever going to do, unless Valentina gets a 3 or greater cost chant with payment reduction clause like Zero's Magic Light, as payment reduction wouldn't reduce the triggered effect like a cost lowering effect may. But anyway, -2 of either stat may occasionally swing a battle when splitting, but anything you'd want to cast in combination as a combat trick will very likely kill something anyway. This effect would have been really good had power creep past Valhalla stats not happened, but it did, and not much has 200 defense. So it empowers an already good space-time anomaly, Dark Purge, and power absorption because Valentina vampires. Why not? Lancelot is even less of a problem now, so that's something to like. It kills Lancelot in one shot. So how about chance without quick cast? Any synergy there? You can use Scorn of Dark Hours to get rid of Feitsing's tokens, or threaten something that may block with death by bringing it into anomaly or purge range. But in both cases, what you're going for is probably better with Mikage. How about separation of body and soul? Same synergy? No. The trigger happens after the card is played and it hits the stack, but before it resolves, meaning it needs a valid target on casting, so you need to torrent it kinda. Cast something prior, mod the stats, then kill it with separation, which is highly impractical in a lot of cases. Might have some use with Scorn and Nameless Mist to set it off, but why would you? To be frank, unless Black-Blue gets something akin to Space-Time Anomaly, which would be incredibly redundant, all of Valentina's practical use is limited to cards that already lower power and toughness. No kill like Overkill, and tacked on draw is always good. And I guess it's not too different from Mikage only having 2 synergistic cards, except it's worse. Mikage can use his effect as a mana dump for counters to use later on. He can split costs. He's frankly more versatile, but she isn't held down by shackles like Mikage is. So let's flip Valentina. Valentina Released Terror. Cards that are both water and darkness cost 1 less, meaning they're void cost. You can also banish 2 Resonators to kill a Resonator or draw a card. We'll get to the first ability in a minute as it is an inclusive to itself, but the banish 2 Resonators? Usable, sure. Alice's Little Scout is a 1-drop that draws a card when it dies. The Monkey Trapped by Life can pay 100 to return to your hand. It's not incredibly fast with it requiring you to flip. The draw is frankly superfluous with Space-Time Anomaly giving between 2 and 8 draws depending on how many you use, with Space-Time Anomaly itself being -7/-7, and Blue having Water Transformation Magic plus Bow. The entire effect seems pointless. You'd probably get better use out of Item Brawley from both of these effects if you really wanted to pack them in for a just case scenario. Since it's slow anyway, my favourite use is Puppet Valentina. Flip summon Val, steal something, then if they try to kill Val to get it back or bring something out that's scary, pop both, kill something. Becomes a 2 for 1. 2 kills for 4 isn't bad, not really, but that's the only real practical use I can think of this that wouldn't just be better with other things. So the cost reduction ability is dictated by the quality of the black-blue cards with a void cost. It's too sluggish taking till turn 4 to set off, so you're probably better off using the rule side if you choose to use this Valentina, but let's humour the idea that you'd use the flip side. Illusion Wizard is rather costly outside of the flip side at 3 converted will cost for a 5/5, but gives you a 4/4 black-blue fantasy token. The token is meant to be used with Valentina's Banished 2, but 2 Resonators in the 2-drop level for 3 isn't bad value. It's fairly decent for board presence for chumps and aggression, but at 4/4 and Artemis's bow being popular again, well, let's be thankful blue has Hera. Nevertheless, 2 for 1 is always good value. Not sure white couldn't be 6/6, as with hybrid cost, it should be better. But I have to wonder if you really want to run this when you could use Shift Valentina as a low-powered 3-drop. Deceptive Dream is a really bad Nyarlathotep, which is a shame as Nyarlathotep was a card I quite like. Black Blue 2 for a 7/7 is pricey, without even taking into consideration hybrid cost should make cards better. Even after flip it's still pricey. On summon they choose a card and discard it. Yes, help them activate Necromancy or remove basically nothing because they ditch a Remnant. Sounds like a brilliant idea. Then it dies, and you draw a card. In the colour with tons of draw anyway. Seems like garbage to me. For the cost, or a smidge more, I'd rather play Hawk, Puppet Valentina, Lucifer if I could produce Moon, the Stealth Parents. Yeah, Deceptive Dream is garbage. Our final one with a void cost is Mujdart, Lady of Illusions for Black Blue 2, and she's an 8 flying. That's not that bad, it's not great, and hybrid cost should make it better. Effects only kinda help it. Other black and blue resonators gain +2/2 from separate clauses, so black-blue resonators gain +4/+4. She can also banish another to give her barrier to chance. That actually doesn't seem that bad. Covers 2 things, and certain resonators can stack it. I know Arthur is a good card, I've used him quite a bit, but with Mujdart being the only one so far that can double up on it that you'd choose to run, but doesn't because she says others, so you'd need another out, I can't help but feel that something else would be needed to make this card pop, or it could end up being a dud. I'd rather run a more black lineup resonator-wise with Arthur if I really wanted that big 4/4 board swing. There's only one resonator left from the preview, so I might as well talk about it too. Illusory Projection, god that's hard to say, is a 4/4 for black-blue that when it dies gives you basically the same thing as a token. All these fantasy tokens seem to be 4/4 and black-blue. It has its uses, but it's weak for the cost. Again, keep having to harp on about this. Hybrid makes cards better. It accounts for good effects by making the card harder to cast. That's why Anomaly does so much. This dies to bow, and then what it makes dies to bow. Probably not the biggest concern because of Hera, but it's something to consider. It's probably got more practical application than Charlotte's Protector. Oh, and Black-Blue Shockland happen. Doesn't shock if you're using Val. Also makes tokens not die to bow, which may help. Neither black nor blue have plus abilities. It only costs itself. Could help if you run the tokens. Might also push through some damage for lethal. With black-blue running bow, I'm not sure why you'd run this over Ruler's Memoria though. So this card is probably better post-rotation than now, or if you can't get Ruler's Memoria. Unless something dramatic happens, I can't see much use for Valentina outside of making Anomaly even better, which isn't completely necessary. It's already very good, and blue already has tools for dealing with other things. In Legacy Lost, there seems to be less than 10 mono cards per colour, as the first dual colour card we have is 50 and starts with a D. I would be willing to guess it's 9 per colour due to the numbering so far. Also, the shock zones start at 96, so there's about 50 dual colour cards. As for how many of those are black-blue, couldn't tell you. They're in no order but alphabetical. But seeing as there's 50 slots for them, 5 combinations we're seeing in the set, accounting for weird oddities because Forceful prints weird pointless shit sometimes. Let's say there's 8 of the main 5 combinations. Then we probably have half of them then. And given Valentina's effect, there are probably more chance coming. As much as I do like Valentina as a character and the effect concept-wise, the rest of the black-blue stuff will have to give a damn good reason to stray from Charlotte, the most evil, blackest ruler in the game. Or even Dark Alice due to her being a meta choice right now. So we'll probably cover this again once the rest of the black-blue stuff happens. This has been some Gamer Dude, and I'll see you guys next time.